Imagine this. A young boy stands alone on a hill in Spain. The sun is setting. The sky is orange and pink. He looks at the horizon. He dreams of something more. He does not know his name will be written in history books. He does not know he will walk into an empire of gold. He does not know his story will teach us about courage, about fear, and about the price of dreams. This is the story of Francisco Pizarro. As you listen, notice the new words. Let the story help your English grow. Breathe, listen, and let this journey begin. Chapter 1. The Boy Who Watched the Stars. Picture a small town in Spain. The year is around 1478. The town is called Trujillo. The houses are simple. The streets are dusty. Life is hard for many people. In one of these houses, a baby is born. His name is Francisco Pizarro. His father is a soldier. His mother is a young woman from a poor family. They are not married. In those days, this was difficult. People looked at Francisco with pity, sometimes with shame. Francisco did not grow up in a big house. He did not go to school. He could not read. He could not write. His world was small. Think about this. A child with no books, no teachers, no easy path. But Francisco had something else. He had eyes that looked far away. He watched the ships leave the harbor. He heard stories from sailors. Stories of new lands, stories of gold, stories of adventure. His heart began to beat faster. This story helps you improve your listening skills. Notice how simple words can paint a big picture. Francisco spent time with his grandparents. They loved him. But love could not fill his hungry heart. He wanted more. Sometimes he worked with animals. He watched pigs in the fields. The work was hard. The days were long. But even then, his mind traveled. He imagined oceans. He imagined mountains. He imagined a life that was his own. Do you ever feel that way? Like your heart wants something your hands cannot reach yet? Hold that feeling. Francisco felt it too. Chapter 2. The Long Road of Pain. Francisco was not a boy forever. He became a young man. And young men in Spain had choices: stay or go. Francisco chose to go. In 1502, he sailed to a new world. The ship was small. The ocean was big. The journey was scary. But Francisco did not turn back. He arrived in a place called Hispaniola. Today, we call it the Dominican Republic and Haiti. The land was new. The people were new. The challenges were new. Francisco worked hard. He learned. He survived. But survival was not enough. He heard about another journey. A man named Vasco Núñez de Balboa wanted to cross a narrow piece of land. He wanted to see what was on the other side. Francisco joined him. Imagine walking through thick jungle. The air is hot. The insects are loud. Every step is a fight. But then, they saw it. The Pacific Ocean. A huge body of water, shining under the sun, stretching further than the eye could see. Francisco stood there, his heart pounded. This was the first time a European saw this ocean from the Americas. He felt something powerful. Hope. As you listen, notice words like hope, courage, and dream. These are simple words with deep meaning. Francisco settled in a new town called Panama. He worked. He saved money. He became a leader. But his eyes still looked south. He heard whispers, stories from native people, stories of a land filled with gold. A powerful empire, a king with more wealth than anyone could imagine. Francisco wanted to find it. But dreams cost money, and Francisco did not have enough. He found two partners. One was a soldier named Diego de Almagro. The other was a priest named Hernando de Luque. They agreed to share the risk and the reward. In 1524, Francisco set sail. The first journey was hard, very hard. The wind fought them, the sea was angry, food ran low, men got sick. They reached the coast of South America, but the land was not friendly. A tribe attacked them. Francisco was wounded, 7 cuts on his body, blood on the sand. They had to return, no gold, no glory, just pain. Think about this moment. Francisco was almost 50 years old. Most men would stop. Most men would say, it is too late. But not Francisco. He tried again in 1526. This time, they sailed farther. They saw new things. A native boat carried beautiful objects, gold, fine cloth. Proof. The golden land was real. But the governor of Panama ordered them to stop. Come back, he said. No more lives should be lost. Francisco faced a choice. Obey or believe. He drew a line in the sand with his sword. Men, he said. On this side there is safety. On the other side there is danger. There is pain. There is death. But on that side there is glory. There is gold. There is a name that will live forever. He stepped over the line. Only 13 men followed him. They became known as the famous 13. Notice how short sentences create tension. This is a tool for storytelling. These men sailed on. They saw more signs of a great civilization. They named the land Peru. But they were too few, too tired, too far from help. Francisco made a hard decision. He would go back to Spain. He would ask the king for support. It was a long journey, a risky journey. But Francisco had something new now. Proof. He showed the king gold objects. He told stories of a rich empire. The king listened, and the king said yes. In 1529, Francisco Pizarro received a title. He was named governor of New Castile. He had permission to conquer, to rule, to claim. He was no longer just a dreamer. He was a man with power. Chapter 3. The Line in the Sand. Francisco returned to Panama in 1530. He was older now. His hair was grey. His face had lines from sun and wind, but his eyes still burned. He gathered men, fewer than 200 soldiers, some horses, a few weapons. It was not a big army, but Francisco had something stronger than numbers. He had a plan. In December 1530, they sailed south. The journey was slow. The coast was long. They stopped at small villages. They took what they needed. They moved forward. Finally, in 1532, they reached the highlands of Peru, and there they heard the news. The Inca Empire was in trouble. The great ruler, Huayna Capac, had died. His 2 sons fought for power. One was named Huáscar. The other was Atahualpa. They fought a long, bloody war. Atahualpa won. But the empire was weak, sick, divided. Francisco saw his chance. He sent a message to Atahualpa. I wish to meet you in the city of Cajamarca. Atahualpa agreed. Why not? He had thousands of soldiers. The Spanish had fewer than 200. It seemed like a simple meeting, but Francisco had a different plan. As you listen, notice the tension building. Good stories make you feel the moment before it happens. November 15th, 1532. The square of Cajamarca. Atahualpa arrived on a golden litter, carried by nobles, surrounded by thousands of men. He looked at the small Spanish group. He felt no fear. Francisco sent a priest forward. The priest spoke. Accept our faith. Accept our king. Atahualpa listened. Then he took the Bible the priest offered. He looked at it. He did not understand the words. He threw it on the ground. That was the signal. Francisco raised his hand. The Spanish attacked. Cannons fired, horses charged, swords flashed. The Incas were shocked. They had never seen horses. Had never heard guns. They had never faced steel armor. Chaos. 9 minutes. Thousands of Incas fell. Atahualpa was captured. Francisco had won. But the victory was not clean. It was not fair. It was not kind. This story helps you learn English through emotion. Feel the weight of this moment. Atahualpa was a prisoner. But he was clever. He made an offer. "Fill this room with gold," he said. "Fill it as high as I can reach. Then let me go." Francisco agreed. For months, gold flowed into the room. Beautiful objects, sacred statues, treasure beyond imagination. The room filled. But Francisco did not keep his promise. He feared Atahualpa. He feared an Inca uprising. He feared losing control. So he made a choice, a hard choice. Atahualpa was executed. The news spread. The Inca Empire trembled. Francisco had crossed a line. There was no going back. Chapter 4: Gold, Power, and a Broken Promise. After Atahualpa's death, Francisco moved forward. He marched to Cusco, the heart of the Inca Empire. The city was magnificent. Stone buildings, golden temples, wide plazas. Francisco took it. He gave orders. He claimed land. He shared treasure with his men. He founded a new city on the coast. He called it City of the Kings. Today, we know it as Lima. Francisco Pizarro was now a powerful man. He had wealth. He had land. He had soldiers who followed him. But power is heavy, and power can break promises. Remember Diego de Almagro, Francisco's partner, the man who shared the early risks. Almagro felt forgotten. He had not received his fair share of the gold. He had not received the land he was promised. The two men, once friends, became rivals. Think about this. Success can change people. Success can break bonds. Almagro left. He traveled south. He hoped to find his own fortune. But the land was hard. The treasure was scarce. He returned angry. Tension grew. Words became weapons. Then, violence. Almagro took Cusco. Francisco's brother, Hernando, fought back. A battle, blood, death. Almagro was captured. And Hernando Pizarro made a decision. Almagro was executed. Francisco did not order this, but he did not stop it either. The cost of power grew heavier. Notice how the story moves forward. Each paragraph adds a new event. No repetition, just progress. Meanwhile, the Inca people did not give up. A young leader named Manco Inca rose. He gathered warriors. He fought back. He surrounded Cusco. He attacked. The Spanish were trapped. For months, they fought to survive. Francisco sent help, but the battles were fierce. Finally, the Spanish held on. But the victory was not sweet. The land was scarred. The people were suffering. The dream of easy gold had turned into a long, painful struggle. Francisco ruled, but he ruled over a broken land. He had won an empire, but he had lost something too. Peace, trust, friendship. Chapter 5: The Last Breath in Lima. The years passed. Francisco grew older. He lived in Lima, in a palace by the sea. He had wealth. He had power. But he also had enemies. The followers of Almagro did not forget. They did not forgive. They saw Francisco as a betrayer, a man who broke promises, a man who chose power over loyalty. They waited. They planned. June 26, 1541. A hot day in Lima. Francisco was in his palace. He was eating lunch. He felt safe. Then the door opened. Men rushed in. swords drawn, eyes full of anger. They were Almagro's supporters, led by his son. Francisco stood up. He had no armor, no weapon. He was an old man now. But he was still Francisco Pizarro. He fought. He grabbed a sword. He defended himself. But there were too many. One by one, they struck him. Francisco fell, blood on the floor. With his last strength, he drew a cross in his own blood. He kissed it. He whispered a name. Jesus. And then, silence. Francisco Pizarro was gone. This story helps you practice listening to emotional moments. Let the feelings stay with you. Francisco Pizarro's story does not end with his death. His name is remembered. Some see him as a hero, a brave man who followed his dream, a leader who changed the world. Others see him as a villain, a man who took what was not his, a man who caused great suffering. The truth is complex. Francisco was human. He had courage, he had vision, he had strength. He also had fear, he had greed, he made hard choices. His life teaches us something important. Dreams can move mountains. But dreams without wisdom can break hearts. Courage is powerful. But courage without compassion can hurt others. Success is sweet. But success without loyalty can leave you alone. As you listen, think about these lessons. They are simple, but they are deep. Francisco Pizarro was a boy who watched the stars. He became a man who changed history. His journey reminds us: your beginnings do not define your ending. Your struggles can shape your strength. Your choices create your legacy. But remember, every choice has a cost. Every dream has a price. Every victory has a shadow. A final word for you. Thank you for listening to this story. If this journey helped your English, I am happy. If this story touched your heart, I am grateful. Learning English is not just about words. It is about connecting, understanding, growing. You are doing that right now. Keep listening, keep learning, keep believing in your own journey. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe for more stories that teach English through history. Your support helps this channel grow. And now, I want to ask you something. Think about Francisco's life. Think about his dreams, his struggles, his choices. What is one dream in your heart right now that you will not give up on? Write your answer in the comments below. Many people will watch this video, but only a few will comment. Be one of them. Your words matter. Your story matters. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, keep shining.